Hi, this is Paul. Unfortunately, I had to make this video about my Mets. I went to the Met game last Saturday with my brother. Me and my brother, we frequently go to a few games a year. And I got the Juan Soto bobblehead doll. There you go, right there. There it is, right there. Just want to let you see that. There you go. And I wonder if I can take this out, let you see it. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Yeah, there it is. There it is. See? Got him with his stolen bases, all the stolen bases and stuff. There we go. I like that. Let me put that back in there. I unfortunately Juan Soto's hurt right now, so he's going to. But hopefully, because the Mets after tomorrow's game in Chicago, they come back to New York and start another homestand on Tuesday, and I think he should be able to play then because they need him bad. Because the Mets, as of this recording, they've lost a 12th straight. No, not 12th grade. Sorry, the 11th straight. Is it? Hold on. I'm so confused. Hold on. They've lost. Hold on. They got swept in Los Angeles. They lost the game on Friday in Chicago, and they lost today. Hold on. Let me see something. It's yeah. The Mets have lost 10 straight. Okay, yeah, they've lost 10 straight. Okay, so it's been a rough. And my shirt. I went to the game Saturday. It was a little nippy there, but I won my. And this is a Kodai Senga jersey, believe it or not. That the last time me and my brother went to Citi Field, they were giving away his jersey, and we were late. Unfortunately, I didn't get one, but I found one. When we went to find our seats, somebody had left one on the floor, so I just, and of course it was the right size, extra large for me. But I got to get this washed because when I was eating I got one of those nice sausage things. I think a little ketchup and little sauce and stuff got on it. I think so. I may have to get this washed. Have my stepfather wash it when he goes to laundry the next time. But anyway, the Mets have lost 10 straight games, and like I said, Juan Soto's hurt, but he's supposed to play on Tuesday when they start a new homestand. But this has been really a drag. This has been horrible with the Mets. They're not hitting. Okay, they're getting decent pitching. Although the game we went to Saturday, Kodai Senga, what a bum. I think he didn't even last through the third inning. He gave up 7 runs, and they yanked him. And the Mets were down 7-1. And I told my brother, I said, listen, we're going to give them 3 more innings. Okay, if they don't start coming back, we're going to get out of here after the 6th inning. But the Mets slowly chipped, and they got it to 7-6. And it was the top of the 8th. They brought in Luke Weaver. He got 2 outs first, and then I think he walked. I think he went and walked the first 2 guys, and he gave up a hit, made it 8-6, and then gave up. And then I'm screaming to my brother, come get. Carlos Mendoza needs to get Luke Weaver. He's losing it. And sure enough, he doesn't. I don't know where Devin Williams was, why he didn't get Devin Williams up and bring Devin Williams in the game. But he let Luke Weaver face another batter, and this guy hit a 3-1 bomb off Luke Weaver. And that's what. And everybody in the stadium, you just heard the collective groan from everybody in the stadium. And everybody just got, you could just see, not everybody got up, but a large part of people just got up, me, myself included, me and my brother said, let's go, it's over now. They're not coming back now. It was 11-6. Okay? That was just completely awful. But like I said, I was going to say that the Mets are going to fire Carlos Mendoza because they got rid of all his coaches last year. And they basically left him, but they got rid of all his coaches. Okay? But if the Mets lose 11 straight games, okay, and I don't see how. Although I think because I think David Stearns, the president of baseball operations, said that he gave Carlos Mendoza his vote of confidence. But I don't see how he could survive if they get swept in Chicago. That means they got swept in Los Angeles and they got swept in Chicago. Okay, that's just absolutely horrendous. And you cannot keep the manager because this team is checked out either mentally. I know there's some guys are hurt and all this stuff, and we get awful pitching from David Peterson and Kodai Senga, but you've gotten decent pitching for the most part from Freddie Peralta and uh, Nolan McLean and I forgot the other guy, Clay Holmes. We've gotten decent pitching from them. It's just that the Mets are not hitting at all. Lindor only has one RBI, one home run and one RBI. He hit a home run, I think, in the middle game against the Dodgers, but he has been brutal. We know he's notoriously a slow starter, Lindor, but he's been absolutely brutal this stretch. Okay, just and he's been making mental errors and all this stuff. Now, I want to say this to these people that because you get these, I call them fair weather fans. They say, "Oh, Lindor is horrible. They gave him his contract. They need to get rid of him. Oh, he's this. He's they're bringing politics into this and this. Enough of this, okay? Lindor is one of the best players in baseball, okay? Yeah, I know he had a hand bone injury, so he didn't really play in spring training and stuff. So I think that even probably contributed more to him not. And now he just seems like I don't know if he's checked out mentally with this stuff, but he's just. It looks like he's just having a rough go of it. But I'm not going to give up on the Mets. Although, like I said, I still think if the Mets get swept in Chicago, they should fire David Carlos Mendoza. But I don't think they're going to do it. I think David Stearns is going to wait till Juan Soto comes back on Tuesday, and I think he'll give him like 2 weeks or so. And I think if the Mets after Juan Soto comes back, and I think he'll give him like 2 weeks. And if sorry about that, stupid ass net. Okay, anyway, I think he'll give him. That's what I get if I open up the window on a warm day. But if he'll give him 2 weeks, I think with Juan Soto. If he doesn't turn this around with Juan Soto in the lineup, I think he's gonna have to. He's gonna have no choice to fire him because unfortunately, like I said, you can't fire 26 players. So, and the only other option is basically he's a lame duck anyway. David Carlos Mendoza, he's a lame duck. He only has 1 year left on his contract anyway. So I think they'll have to fire him. Although I think again, I don't blame him as much. I blame him for some of the pitching choices. I think and some of the lineup choices. But the lineup choice I think he has to do what he has to do because he's got to deal with the hand that he's dealt with. But the players are not hitting. It's just horrible. Brett Beatty is not hitting. He's not. I don't think he's had a walk yet this whole entire year, which is incredible. So he's struggling. The Carson Bench, who they gave the outfield job to, the right fielder job to, he's not hitting either. Okay, they switched him in the lineup now. They got him leading off, which may be better because he got speed. But I think they'll give him another month. I think they'll give him through May. And I think if he's not hitting through the end of May, I think they're going to send him back down to the minor leagues in this because he hasn't spent. Carson Bench has not spent that much time in the minor league. No, at least in AAA, he hasn't. So I think if he doesn't start hitting, they're gonna send him down. But I think they'll give him, I think probably through the end of May at least. And if he doesn't start hitting, I think they're going to send Carson Bench back down to the minor leagues until he starts hitting. Okay, and they have a serviceable replacement so they can stick in right field. And too, Mark Vientos, he had a home run today, I think, but he's still outside of that series in San Francisco, when the Mets won 3 of the last 4 games. He hasn't been hitting either. Okay, he's been horrible too. And like I said, I thought during the off season that they were gonna get rid of Mark Vientos. I thought they were gonna trade him, but they didn't, which is horrible. And then plus Polanco has been hurt all the season, and they finally today put him on the injured list. He's been hurt this whole time and hasn't done anything. I think that game that I went to on Saturday, he hit a home run, but that's about it. He's just been god awful. But he has a career history of being hurt all the time, and I think David Stearns he's gonna feel it. Like I said, I don't think Steve Cohen is gonna fire him, but I think he may have to evaluate this stuff. And even Bo Bichette is not hitting that great either. Okay, so it's just a bunch of guys. The only guy I think that is hitting decently on this team is Francisco Alvarez. And again, he has, I think, over 4 home runs, but he only has like 4 or 5 RBIs because nobody's usually on base when he hits those home runs. But he's the only one that's, I think, that's decent. And the center fielder, I forgot his name. He's been the only one that hit a little bit too, but everybody else has been struggling all up and down the lineup. And hopefully, like I said, when Juan Soto comes back on Tuesday, he can hopefully give the team a boost up. Like I said, they lost today, and they more likely who's going to pitch tomorrow? Oh yeah. Oh my God, David Peterson is pitching tomorrow. Oh my God, I just thought about that, and you just would hope that he would maybe he could find some luck because he's been struggling this whole season too, and he's going to be a free agent. And the Mets are not bringing him back because he's just been god awful the second half of last year and the beginning of this year. But maybe we'll get some kind of miracle and he'll pitch a good game tomorrow. Maybe he'll surprise everybody and pitch 7 strong innings. You can only hope. But again, this team is struggling, and again, this is the team that David Stearns put together. Okay, this team has his mark on it because this is the team that when he came here. I'll still never forgive him for. Yeah, I can understand the no trade because of the contract and the Jeff McNeil thing, getting rid of those, changing it because you haven't won anything with them. But not paying Pete, I think, is a crime. I think that was just, and I'll still hold on to that no matter what. I know a lot of people say, "Oh well, Pete was never his contract was going to age bad." No, Pete Alonso was your premier home run hitting for this Met team. Okay, and taking him away from this team because you were too cheap and didn't want to pay him. Okay, I think it's just absolutely asinine to me. Okay, not paying Pete. Okay, I know he's struggling with Baltimore, but I definitely think if he would have been on the Mets team right now, he'd have probably been carrying them, and they would probably have at least 3 more wins, and so they wouldn't be going through this 10-game losing streak right now. Okay, and because Pete was my favorite. I got cups and stuff with Pete. You know, hold on for a minute. Yeah, Pete Alonso, there he is. I miss you, Pete, and I'm sorry that you had to go away because David Stearns' idiotic self didn't see your value, and you had great value to this Met team, and I hate that he's gone. Okay, but I think you're gonna have to fire Mendoza just because that's the only thing you can do to try to change up the voice in the locker room. Maybe you can bring somebody. I don't know who else they can get. Maybe they'll get Correa, one of the bench coaches, or people are even talking about getting Beltran, let him be in the coach. But I think if you're gonna do that, you probably let Beltran be the coach from the beginning and stuff. So maybe next year, if you give him the job, maybe let Correa finish off this team. But you need a new voice, I think, because I think the players have tuned out Carlos Mendoza. I think they're just in their own world and stuff. And you can only hope when Juan Soto comes back, maybe Lindor will get better and he'll straighten up the lineup and stuff, and they can stop losing. And it's a shame. I can't even hold my head up high anymore because this is absolutely brutal stretch they're going through right now. Okay, and David Stearns, he's going to have to wear it. Okay, like I said, this is the guy that Steve Cohen waited for when he first bought the team. He waited till his contract ran out to hire this guy, and this guy, his first role at just designing this team has been god awful because this team is putrid in terms of hitting. They're just not hitting consistently at all. Okay, and he put this team together. Okay, and this is ridiculous. They're like this. They got the second highest payroll in the major leagues, and they're absolutely horrendous. Okay, so again, like I said, I think normally he would get fired, Carlos Mendoza, if they lose tomorrow, because then you got an off day on Monday. But I don't think he's going to do that. I think David Stearns is going to wait till Juan Soto comes back in the lineup, and then maybe give him 2 more weeks, and then see if they turn that around. If they don't turn it around back then I think all bets are off. Then I think he's going to have to fire Carlos Mendoza, even though it's just a team that he put together, David Stearns, and he's going to have to wear it. Okay, and I don't know if Steve Cohen is going to. A lot of people say, well, Steve Cohen is not going to fire. He waited for this guy all this long, but maybe Steve Cohen is going to have to do something. Like I said, maybe you want to leave David Stearns president of baseball operations and hire a real GM, somebody that's somebody with the actual GM title, not president of baseball operations. Let somebody else be the actual GM. Okay, and maybe if the Mets continue on this way, you let Bo Bichette go. You let Robert Lee. He's going to be. I think he has a team option, but I think he. So you may have to even revamp this team again. And like I said, Bo Bichette only has. He can opt out. I think after this first year. I think it's a is it player option or is it? I'm not. Hold on for a minute because I'm not sure about that. This Bo Bichette has a. Hold on. Hold on. Bo Bichette does his contract have a player option? Yeah, yeah, he does have a player option. Yeah, he does have a player option, so he can, if he decides to opt out, he'll get $5 million buyout. So unless he turns it around, I don't know if he'll want to stay around. He may want to just check out, but then again, because you got to prove yourself again. So who knows? But this team is just god awful, and it's the hitting, and like I said, maybe you need a new voice in this locker room because nobody's listening. Because they're pathetic right now in terms of hitting. And I think maybe you do need a new voice in here. But like I said, David Stearns is going to have to wear this. If this season continues the way it is, he's going to have to wear it. And I don't know if Steve Cohen is the type of guy, the way he runs his business, he may just have to say, listen, um, you know, uh, David, listen, we tried it your way. It ain't working. I'm going to hire GM. You can still be president of baseball operations, but I want a GM. Okay, I want a different guy to be the GM. Okay, because this has been awfully horrendous to this team. Because I got a feeling this week, especially if they lose tomorrow, I don't know how many people are going to show up at Citi Field. Okay, I know the games are usually sold out in terms of tickets, but I don't know how many people are going to show up this week when the Mets come home on Tuesday. Because that stadium may be half empty with people just to show their displeasure with David Stearns and the players and stuff. I think they may. I think they should do that. That's the only way you can affect them by withholding your money. That's the only way that you'll get their attention. And maybe Steve Cohen will come to the realization that you know what, maybe David Stearns isn't a boy genius, and maybe we have to actually have you can have a president of baseball, but actually have a general manager that's separate from that. Okay, and not have a guy try to do both things. Okay, because unless they turn it around, these Mets have been absolutely horrendous, and I don't know what more to say. So anyway, let me know what you think of this whole Mets situation. Do you think Steve Cohen does anything? Like I said, I don't think Steve Cohen's going to fire David Stearns because he waited for him this long, unfortunately. Although I wouldn't be butthurt if he fired him, but I don't think he's going to do that. But I would actually, if I was Steve Cohen, I would hire a GM. I would tell David Stearns, no more baseball operations. You give out all these badass contracts. I want an actual general manager. Okay, let him make the decisions, the baseball decisions and stuff, and the trades and stuff. And you can just be the president of baseball operations, and you can work with them. But I need a new voice in here because what you've been doing has not been working at all. Okay, and I think that's it to me. So anyway, in the description box are links to my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram. Also have a link to my main channel, Trepacer, in the description box as well. Also have a link down below to my merchandise store. As you can see, I'm wearing my Trepacer logo shirt. I'm also wearing I also have my spherical circles. Those are the two designs I have. I have it on t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, hoodies, water bottles, teddy bears for men, women, unisex. Follow link. It'll take you to my merchandise store. Also, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps the channel, and I truly appreciate it. Also, hit the subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload new content to this channel. And this is Paul saying so long and take care.